Okay, so our first song is Hotel California by a group known as the Eagles. And this song has been interpreted by many people. Um, the best analysis I've seen so far is by a professor of the Department of English Language and Literature at Gyeongbuk National University in Korea. His name is Stephen Garajus, PhD. And this is what he says. Hotel California by the Eagles is a song that many people are familiar with throughout the world. It's a well-known song, but at the same time, very few people really have any idea as to its meaning. Here we will examine the lyrics of this song in detail, and will spend some time extracting the cultural, social, and psychological themes that lie hidden below the surface. What does this song say about American society? While most people tend to think of Hotel California as a somewhat romantic or melancholy song, or simply related to traveling and staying in a nice hotel in California, they are usually quite surprised to discover that it is actually a scathing social commentary on the materialism and hedonism of contemporary American life. California itself is seen as a metaphor for escapism and the never-ending search for pleasure and fulfillment. It is little wonder that this song became a classic icon for an entire generation. The song is in 6 verses, with the refrain repeated with some variation after the second and fourth verses. Among the difficulties in interpreting the song is the fact that some of the lines are rather obscure, that are built-in ambiguities in a number of passages, and puns and double meanings that have conscientiously utilized in several places. This is probably the most thoroughly discussed and debated song of the Eagles, and even the most dedicated fans do not completely agree about the meaning. Now let us examine the lyrics line by line. The first verse gives us the setting. On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. We can picture the narrator driving across the desert in the U.S. Southwest on his long trip to California. Night has fallen and the heat of day has cooled off. His windows are open, or maybe he's driving a convertible with the top down, and the warm desert fragrance comes to him in the air. Here we can introduce a little U.S. geography. Most Americans travel by car, and the trip to California is a long drive through sparsely populated areas, mountains and deserts, with a few small towns, filling stations and motels along the way to break the monotony. As with many drivers intent on getting to his destination, our narrator has driven all through the day, well into the night, and fatigue has begun to set in. As he sees the welcoming light of some human habitation in the dark and empty distance, perhaps a motel or roadside restaurant, he realizes that he needs to stop for the night. There is some ambiguity in the second line that has generated a lot of discussion and various interpretations among fans. the warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. On the surface of it, colitas can be taken as a night-blooming desert plant of the Southwest. But there is another possible meaning. The Spanish word cola means tail of an animal, and with the diminutive ending ata, it gives us the word little tails, which is an obscured regional slang word for marijuana. In the next verse, we are introduced to another significant character. There she stood in the doorway. I heard the mission bell, and I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven or this could be hell. The woman was standing in the doorway, and then the subsequent reference would use she. But to go directly to the pronoun without any preliminary reference in a discourse device that places great emphasis on that individual as if she needed no introduction. And as the tale unfolds, we begin to see that she is indeed a looming figure. The line, I heard the mission bell, introduces several features. On the one hand, it gives us a sense of place. The Spanish missions established throughout the region long before any English-speaking settlers set foot in the area are among the characteristic cultural icons of Southern California and the U.S. Southwest. Many of the cities and towns of California grew up around these missions. There is nothing more equivocal of the special character of this region than the sound of the ancient mission bells. The second theme may also have seen it in extremely extraneous reference to the mission bell, an implication that something spiritual or otherworldly has evolved. Additionally, there is no ambiguous two-sided significance to the Spanish mission bells. They symbolize the call to salvation on the one hand, and they symbolize the colonization of the region and the suppression of Native American peoples and cultures. And this leads us directly to the next line, where the protagonist thinks to himself, this could be heaven or this could be hell. It seems to be a premonition of things to come, the first hint that all is not what it appears to be. The next line is an interesting one. She lit up a candle and she showed me the way. On the surface, it seems she is to be nothing more than someone working at the hotel showing him the way to his room. But why a candle? Where were the electric lights? He doesn't even question her actions. There are a number of implications here. On the one hand, a candle symbolizes a light of guidance, not merely physical guidance down a hallway, but some sort of journey of the mind is implied. If she switched on the lights or carried a flashlight, it would have an entirely different feeling. On the other hand, candles are used to enhance the mood of a place. The nice thing about candlelight is that it protects us from seeing what's the reality in the shadows. And in Hotel California, no one wants to really see the glaring reality of the place. As the song continues, he is being ushered down the hallway. There are voices down the corridor. I thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely face. Plenty of room at the Hotel California. Any time of year, you can find it here. These enticing voices are reminiscent of the sirens encountered by Odysseus on his journey, offering all that men could desire, but leading to their ultimate destruction. Welcome, they whisper, such a lovely place. There's a room here for everyone, and whatever your desires may be, you can fulfill them here. The voices promise everything. Such a lovely face, they say. Does this refer to our mysterious guy? The face also implies facade, the outward appearance of things, which, as we all know, can be indefinitely deceiving. The next two lines reveal more about her. Her mind is Tiffany twisted. She's got a Mercedes Benz. She's got a lot of pretty, pretty boys that she calls friends. These two lines say a lot. Tiffany twisted implies that she has a distorted obsession with the luxuries and the superficial, beautiful things of life. There is a wordplay in the phrase. She's got a Mercedes Benz, B-E-N-D-S. The undisputed king of automobiles, Mercedes Benz, B-E-N-Z, has been changed to Mercedes Benz, both words being pronounced the same. The implication here is that her taste for elegant and expensive cars is a manifestation of her too rapid and temporary rise in social status. Although she seems confident and self-assured in her position, she is really living above her true state. And this is one of the beautiful people with seemingly endless resources and appetites. She has attracted an assortment of pretty, pretty boys that she calls friends. The repetition of the word pretty gives it an excessive and repulsive connotation, not pleasant at all. We can easily picture these pretty, pretty boys, vain, self-absorbed young men, all style and affection, gathering around whoever provides the most lavish distractions. And as to emphasize the superficiality of their relationship, we are told they are those that she calls friends. How they dance in the courtyard, sweet summer sweat. Some dance to remember, some dance to forget. This shows us the scene in the pop social sense. At the Hotel California, the frenzied dancing, the swell of sweat, sweet summer sweat, a nice alliteration, but it also conveys a rather erotic connotation. Some dance to remember, some dance to forget is one of the more memorable lines from this song. People like to dance for many reasons, not only because they enjoy dancing. This line focuses on the emptiness of people's lives, the frantic, hypnotic activity of the dance lets them momentarily forget their pointless daily lives and allows them to recapture a bit of some half-forgotten youthful past. In both cases, what it really means is that the dancers are not happy with who they are, and this reinforces the theme of escapism that runs throughout the song. So I called up the captain. Please bring me my wine. He said, we haven't had that spirit here since 1969. As the protagonist edges into the world of Hotel California, we can picture him sitting at a table in the shadows, observing the activities going on, but not yet participating himself. He calls the wine steward and asks for his wine, assuming it to be on the house. But the captain replies, "We haven't had that spirit here since 1969. This is a very puzzling answer. What could he mean? For one thing, there is surely a pun on the word spirit, which not only means alcohol, but also refers to the pervasive attitude and mood. And why 1969? Possible significance for the year 1969 is that it marked the end of the 60s, a seminal period of social change, expansive hopes, and idealisms in American history. With the end of the 60s, there came a sort of hardening of the spirit in America, a loss of innocence that has proven impossible to recapture. The spirit of optimism, social activism, and naive idealism is no longer with us. But whatever the Eagles had intended by the verse to 1969, they don't tell us, and it is still open to various interpretations. And still those voices are calling from far away. You wake up in the middle of the night just to hear them say, "Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place. Such a lovely face." They are living it up at the Hotel California. What a nice surprise. Bring your alibis. Again, we hear the siren call of the mysterious voices. Are they the other minions of the Hotel California, or are they only within his own head? The voices are telling him, possibly through a sense of irony, that everything and everyone is having a great time in the Hotel California. As previously the voices had promised that one's deepest desires could be fulfilled here, now they are telling him in essence that anything goes and he can do whatever he wants to enjoy himself. No concerns with pri- priority, no inhibitions, no worry about the consequences of his acts need bother him here. What a nice surprise. The voices tell him brightly, but come prepared to deny any responsibility. They advise him, bring your alibis. We begin to see that this is not just an isolated group of people in some wayside desert hotel that is being described, but a whole society, an entire generation, with their hedonistic pursuits and denial of personal responsibility. Mirrors on the ceiling, pink champagne on ice, and she said, "We are all just prisoners here of our own device." The image presented here makes us picture some luxurious love hotel. Where else could you find mirrors on the ceiling? And the drink of preference is pink champagne on ice. Champagne is an elegant beverage of celebration, but pink champagne has an implication of crassness and overindulgence. If champagne is a symbol of elegance and sophistication, the reason seems to go, then pink champagne must be even more elegant and luxurious. As our narrator gazes on this scene, his hostess, the temptress, admits to him that they are all just prisoners here of our own device. Any semblance of freedom is really an illusion, and they have willingly succumbed to their own obsessions, fantasies, compulsions, and addictions. And now we come to the most horrifying vision of life, of the inner circle at the Hotel California. The narrator catches a glimpse of what's going on. And in the master's chamber they gather for a feast. They stab it with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Behind the scenes lurks the ominous master, who never really makes his appearance. Whatever they are feasting on seems unwilling to be subdued. It is possible their own inner cravings. Repulsed and with a sense of horror, the narrator flees the scene. He is so overwhelmed that he blocks the final message of that scene from his mind, loses his bearing, and frantically seeks a means of escape. Last thing I remember, I was running for the door. I had to find the passage back to the place I was before. He eventually finds himself back where he started, but the night clerk at the front desk informs him nonchalantly that there is no escape. Relax, said the night man. We are programmed to receive. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. The terrible irony and finality of these last words make this verse among the most memorable of the whole song. Trapped. Like so many others, he can play at checking out, but he will never leave. And a final irony is the telling of the story itself. He is telling us his story, and we know that he is still there in the Hotel California. So what does it all really mean? Is this a tale of a simple traveler who happens to stop at a desert resort hotel by chance and gets caught up in some local sordid scene? It could be nothing more than that. But I think, and most others think, that the song is a biting commentary on contemporary life in the United States. The song helped define a whole generation and touched a chord of recognition within the minds of countless Americans. The Hotel California is a symbol for California as a whole, and California itself is a metaphor for many themes in the American experience. Go west, young man. The search for new beginnings. The land of opportunity. The purveyor of tinsel dreams. For generations, California has epitomized the American frontier and all that it represents. Both hopes for a new start in life and an escape from oppressive reality. The irony, the theme of escape has come to overwhelm the theme of new beginnings. In many ways, California has come to represent much of the very best in American culture, and at the same time, much of the very worst. Of this latter, the obsessions with hedonistic pursuits and materialism, with escapism and indulgence of bizarre fantasies, with status seeking and the lure of being in the scene and the denial of personal responsibility are all portrayed in a most powerful, succinct way in this song. For these reasons, we can see Hotel California as a cautionary tale and a bitter social satire.